Well, I think that the most important measure, I would say, is a short, mid and long-term measure, which is really developing the state in Colombia. I'm not meaning that it's not already existed. The state is there, but it's a state that is not really reaching the whole of the territory. It's a state that needs to be developed. It's a state that needs to be developed in infrastructure, in rule of law, health services, educational services, security. Without really developing the state, I think that the peace agreement will be very limited in its reach.
Bueno, yo creo que teniendo en cuenta que en Colombia, tanto el gobierno actual como la guerrilla que hizo el proceso de paz, las FARC, tienen voluntad y han demostrado voluntad política, lo que realmente hace falta hoy en Colombia es dinero, porque Colombia, está claro, no sabe todavía de dónde van a salir los recursos para hacer viable el proceso de paz. Pero es importante destacar que la próxima elección presidencial que se da en el 2018 también va a determinar si esto va a ser posible o no va a ser posible. Un cambio de gobierno pondría en riesgo la implementación de los acuerdos de paz.
I think that the most important measure is to increase the legitimacy of the peace agreement and to reduce polarization. And for that, I think that you have to build local ownership of the peace agreement and then to create some kind of bottom-up increased legitimacy, because as we lost the plebiscite, then there is a lot of contestation against the peace agreement and Colombian society is divided. If we do not overcome that, I think that the implementation is going to be very, very difficult.
Well, a peace agreement is a major milestone in a peace process, a fundamental step in a peace process. But the peace process is much more than not only a peace agreement. Peace does not trickle down from an agreement. It needs the participation, the commitment of society at large. And that applies for the agreement. Yes, I think the most important part is that all stakeholders in society, all social, political, economic actors feel that they are part of the change. They need to feel part of the change. That will be the most fundamental condition to allow change happen. Change by implementing the peace agreement, change also by other measures that need to happen in parallel to agreement implementation.
If I have to choose one single measure to be taken or action, I would say that the success of the peace agreement and the successful implementation of the agreement depends very much on the fact or my will that political sectors within Colombia stop using or don't use the agreement as a tool in electoral politics. And I will be clear. There is a deep polarization in the Colombian society that was expressed in the plebiscite last October with regards to how to reach peace. And a great risk in the short term is that the political parties, certain political parties, use the opposition to this peace agreement as a tool to gain the elections in 2018. That would increase polarization, that would increase division, and this is an agreement that puts an end to 50 years of war. It's a comprehensive but very complex agreement that will demand the best capacities of the Colombian state and society, and overcoming, leaving aside political divisions would be a really good public service.
Yo creo que la medida más importante es el compromiso de todas las partes de la no repetición. La no repetición hace una parte muy importante de lo que es el acuerdo, y es el compromiso de los unos y de los otros a cambiar la mentalidad en la búsqueda de los objetivos políticos. Si el país encuentra que hay un nuevo camino, de que se puede llegar a la política sin el uso de las armas, sin la utilización de la violencia, pues eso ayudará lógicamente a que se consolide realmente la paz en Colombia. Lo demás, pues es una acción decisiva del Estado, un fortalecimiento de las instituciones y una voluntad de todos por cambiar la manera como se hacía la política y por cambiar la manera como se vivía en Colombia.
What we think is perhaps the most important measure that needs to be taken in order to guarantee a successful peace process is that there is continued robust engagement on the part of the international community, in particular the donor countries and the US, to guarantee that the different parts of the accord are implemented in the manner that they have been stipulated and negotiated, that there isn't a renegotiation as the fast-track process moves forward, and then also to guarantee the funding that will be required, which will be very substantial. In other peace processes, we've seen that the international community has turned away, thought that the situation is resolved, and we've seen the effects of that 10, 15 years later. We don't want that to happen with Colombia. We want that to move forward, and it's going to need a commitment for at least 10 years.